Are you exhausted from living a life that feels like it belongs to everyone but you? Do you get that knot of resentment in your stomach when you say no problem for the 10th time, even though it is a huge problem? You've been trying to break this cycle for years, but what if the solution isn't about being stronger? What if the real key is a 100-year-old psychological trick for reclaiming the very part of you that you've been taught to hide? You say yes when you're screaming no inside. You twist yourself into knots to fit other people's expectations, and what do you get in return? Exhaustion and resentment. You're terrified that if you stop, people will see you as selfish or, even worse, that you'll be abandoned. But what if this constant performance isn't real kindness? What if it's the one thing keeping you from genuine self-respect and authentic connection? Let's be real, for most of your life, people-pleasing has been a survival strategy. You learned early on that being agreeable, helpful, and easygoing was the safest way to earn approval and avoid conflict. There's a name for this mask we wear. The brilliant psychologist Carl Jung called it the persona. It's the polished, socially acceptable version of ourselves we present to the world. Now, the persona isn't a bad thing, we all need one to function in society. The danger comes when we forget we're even wearing it, when we start to believe that this good, accommodating mask is who we really are. Your self-worth becomes tied to how useful you are to others. This creates a deep inner war, because while your mask is smiling, a part of you is screaming, feeling totally invisible and left behind. People-pleasing isn't kindness, it's a slow form of self-abandonment disguised as virtue. This brings us to the psychological trick, which isn't a trick at all, but a profound truth from Carl Jung. He identified a hidden part of our personality he called the shadow. The shadow is where we shove all the traits we're taught are bad or unacceptable, things like anger, assertiveness, selfishness, and even our own ambition. The people-pleaser lives in terror of this part of themselves, convinced that if it ever got out, it would destroy their relationships. But here's the life-changing secret: the shadow is not a monster to be destroyed. It's where your power is buried. For the people-pleaser, the shadow is a goldmine. It holds that firm no you're terrified to say. It contains the boundaries you're afraid to set. It holds the self-respect you desperately crave. The key isn't to destroy this so-called dark side, it's to integrate it. As Jung famously said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Your strength isn't in being nicer, it's in becoming whole. So, how do we actually do this? How do we integrate the shadow and stop people-pleasing for good? First, identify your golden shadow. Jung noted that what irritates us in others can teach us about ourselves, but this also works in reverse. Think of someone you admire for their strong boundaries or their unapologetic way of being. That quality you admire in them is often a disowned part of your own shadow, a golden trait that's just waiting for you to reclaim it. Simply acknowledging, "I have that in me too," is the first step to owning that power. Second, start a dialogue with your repressed needs. Give your shadow a voice. For 1 week, take just 5 minutes a day to journal and answer these questions honestly, without any judgment. What have I been afraid to want? What would I do if I wasn't scared of disappointing anyone? What is my resentment trying to tell me? This isn't about acting on every impulse. It's about making the unconscious conscious. You're just giving your authentic self permission to exist at the table. And third, practice micro-boundaries. Don't start by saying no to a massive request from your boss. That's way too overwhelming. You have to build the muscle. Start small. Let a call go to voicemail and call back when you're actually ready. Instead of an instant yes to a text, try, "Let me check my calendar and get back to you." Each small act of setting a limit is shadow integration in action. It's a quiet declaration that your needs, your time, and your energy are valuable. The strange thing is, stopping people-pleasing isn't about becoming a selfish or uncaring person. It's only by becoming a true individual that you can form the deepest, most genuine connections with others. Real kindness doesn't flow from an empty, resentful cup, it flows from one that is full and authentic. By embracing your shadow, you don't just stop saying yes to everyone else, you finally start saying yes to yourself. You finally learn what it feels like to belong to yourself. If you're ready to stop performing and start living, subscribe for more content on building authentic self-respect. And I really want to know, so tell me in the comments, what is one micro-boundary you are going to set for yourself this week? Your story might just be the spark someone else needs to see.